The bestseller badge on Amazon is the most important thing that you could obtain to improve your sales. Now, obviously, you need sales to get that badge. But my name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy, and I'm going to show you some things about the bestseller badge. And by the way, if you didn't know, you can go to Amazon.com and type in bestsellers, and it will actually show you bestseller badge items, both in advertising as well as the organic results. So you got a Stanley Cup right here. You got the sea moss black seed oil right there, probably the bestseller in supplements. This orange badge here makes a massive impact on consumers' conversion rates and their choice to purchase a product. One of my other favorite badges is new releases. To get to this page, I go to Google, type in Amazon new releases, second result right there. Or you can go to amazon.com/gp/new-releases. And in here, you can see a bunch of categories. So you can go by department and look these up. Sometimes it's fun to go in here just to get product ideas for sourcing, especially when it's like new releases, because then you're seeing like what's really hot right now. So, hey, what game should I buy my kids right now? Princess Peach. Right? Go down to the new releases in video games and see like what's the focus, what are people purchasing. So what's really cool about this, and I'm actually really curious about the Peach game, so I'm gonna go click that now, is when you can see number one bestseller, number one new release. This one's actually got the bestseller instead of new release badge, which is interesting. It probably qualifies for both. Took me a while to find the new release badge. I had to click on a few different products here. But here you can see number one new release in vacuums. So if you click on the vacuums icon, then it will bring up all of the new releases in vacuums like this. I have an add-on that shows me if they're Chinese or American. So if I want to buy from an American company on the new releases, I might go over to number 3 here. But obviously the new release badge and the bestseller badge just have a massive impact on what people will purchase, right? Amazon has a lot of different badges. They have Amazon's Choice, which you can see an Amazon's Choice badge right here. Now on the search page, I actually could not trigger an Amazon's Choice badge today, which is unusual. They used to be pushing it super hard, but maybe in 2024, they're backing off of the Amazon's Choice badge. Could be because of some of the monopoly discussions that we've been having where they give their own freaking brand, the Amazon's Choice badge, like Obama giving Obama an award meme, if you were. So here, overall pick is kind of the rebrand of Amazon's Choice, which then when you get to the listing, it says Amazon's Choice. So there's those kinds of badges also are super helpful because typically only one or a handful of products will have that badge when you do a search. So this one, only one triggered it. So the eye is going to be drawn to it, right? But then there's also the bestseller badge, which is orange versus this kind of blackish with a tiny bit of orange with an info tool click icon right there. So I think that the bestseller badge has the most impact. Once you have that, it's going to go very well. But often the easiest one to obtain is just simply the number one new release. So if you are about to launch a product, I would recommend you study categories before you list your product and calculate the number of sales you're going to need to get to obtain the number one new release badge. There's a couple of ways you could go about doing this. Perhaps the easiest is to go to the Amazon Hot New Releases page in your category and simply click on a tool like Helium 10. We do have a promo code for that in the comments as well as the description. Check that out. And in here, you can look at the X-ray for the sales velocities. And when this loads, we're going to see how many products are being sold, what's the quantity of that to get to slot 1. Now, if you see a blank, that could be a variety of reasons that can cause the blank, but we can pretty much ascertain what it's going to take by looking at the couple of top 2 results here. So 800 units in a 30-day span, 400 units in a 30-day span. To make the top 10, going to need to break at least 250, right? So if we were going to launch a vacuum right now, this Fantic right there is doing 800 units. That's at 1,500. If that one's doing 800 units at 1,500 in the BSR and automotive, and this one's at 319 in automotive, we could venture to guess this one's probably selling 4,000 units. And that's just kind of a finger in the air guesstimation. But there's a massive difference between top 1,600 and top 300 in automotive. So some of these, and it's like kind of the Richter scale with earthquakes. It goes down very quickly the farther in the BSR you go. So if you wanted to get the number one new release in vacuums, that would be very, very difficult. And you would have to go super cheap and extend that for a lengthy period of time. It almost wouldn't be worth it to do it in vacuums. But if you were looking at other categories, let's go back to the core category of automotive. And I don't know, let's click into RV parts and supplies or whatever. And right here, a leveling block. Right? So $40 item, $1,800 in automotive, actually not much easier than the vacuum category we're just looking at, but that's going to be, again, about 800 units, probably more like 700 or 600 units. So we'll click on this X-ray again, see what that comes up, and 1,500 units. So I was even way off. So this gives you an idea, like, okay, what's it going to take to get number one new release in that category? And once you know that, then you can run some math, right? So let's say I was going to release a new leveling block and I had a target price of $60. I might go to market at $40 just to get the number one new release badge and then slowly raise the price. Now, I did not study this item before. Let's see when they launched it. And they launched it December 13th. Now, today is March 29th. They still have the number one new release badge 4 months later. That would be insane if that was the case. But it does say new releases right there. I didn't actually see the badge on the page. Sometimes they'll give it to the second or third place. Amazon's Choice. So we're not actually seeing the badge, and it would be kind of an unusual thing if we saw a badge on something that launched 4 months ago. But if we look at this chart here, we can kind of see that they got really serious right in the February timeframe. So maybe they're counting the last 60 days as kind of the big push, potentially. Hard for us to know. But this kind of gives you an idea of like how to replicate the process, right? If you want to have a successful product, and I love how their brand name is OffiSpeed. That's a weird brand name. But if you want to replicate the process, you just have to go into the category, see what everybody else has done, and run some math. So we would know we need to sell 1,600 leveling blocks if we wanted to dethrone these guys. And obviously that's an insane amount of units, especially on a new product launch. So there are other categories this will be easier in. The item that I did this in very effectively was in the Smudge Kits. And this is an item I've done very historically well on, 1,800 reviews, 4.6 stars. So when I launched this specific product, I clicked the all-time. I got the number one new release badge in October of 2021. And you can see it right here. I basically launched it, and within the first 7 days, I was in the top 15,000, top 10,000 BSR in all of home and kitchen. And that led to me having a very great Q4. You'll see that the best BSR topped out right on Christmas at 5,000 BSR. It maintained success in the 20s and mid-20s, low teens going into May of 2022. And then over time, it kind of sloughed off, and it got better again a year later, and it's kind of sloughing off again, right? So you can see the full chart right there. Price reduction strategies have a massive impact. So when we run sales go up. Obviously, you raise prices, sales slightly go down. But the nice thing about price theory is that you generally will maintain some of those gains for extended periods of time, right? So when I launched at $8, I actually launched it at $7, then I went to $8, then I went to $10, and you can see the green line there as I kind of raised the price over time. I wanted to maintain it at $10. Most of my competitors are at the $7 and $8 range. So when I tried to revitalize it, I lowered it down to $7 again. It helps the sales. The blue shows the BSR going back down, which is good. Then I raised the price back up, and then I could maintain it at the $10 range. And you can see in there, did pretty good. So price reduction followed by price raising can improve BSR. This is a widely misunderstood concept, but frequently very necessary. You should not be static with price. If you are static with price for a year or something along those lines, you typically are missing out on sales. Your BSR cannot be optimal without messing or adjusting price up or down. Got a co-pilot in with my 8-year-old son here, Hunter, and he's already dressed with pajamas, ready for bed. About to go out for some dinner, get some Vietnamese tonight while a babysitter comes in, so it's going to be great. All right, so badges, though. So the whole point of me shooting this video is to point out that if you go and think about the honeymoon period on Amazon, and you're going to want to watch the honeymoon video next after this, but my whole point is if you hit really hard, lots of sales when you first launch the product and get that #1 new release badge, it's going to release pressure on your need to spend lots of money on advertising. It's going to release pressure on a lot of things. It's going to allow you to raise price. It's going to help your margins. It's going to reduce the marketing spend that you have to put out. So chase the #1 new release badge whenever possible. And if you go to some old content where I talk about the Smudge Kits, I had the #1 new release in incense, and I still have the Amazon's Choice in incense for this Age of Sage incense product. So badges, really important. Amazon's Choice, not that important. #1 new release badge, #1 bestseller, extraordinarily important. Thanks for watching. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. And for more content, hit that subscribe button. Watch the honeymoon period video next. And if you need an agency to help grow your sales, go over to myamazonguy.com and get a proposal today.